seconds until minions.
And here we go. 2 best-of-5s left for the LEC World slots already decided, order or not. But it's time to see what both these teams can bring to the table. This was the game about testing the waters. They left Nisqy's champion pool wide open. It was not the Twisted Fate, it was the Ryze that he opted for. Larssen back to Azir, a pick he has been known for historically. Time to see who can take the first game.
Yeah, it's going to be a very important one. The first game can also indicate a lot, but I say that, so far in our LEC playoffs, the first game actually doesn't really indicate a lot.
You lose the series if you win game one.
Mad Lions is the only exception to that rule, or perhaps curse. I think that for both these teams, obviously fighting for a lot. Rogue want to get that rematch against the Mad Lions, make that return to the finals, whereas Fnatic want to return to the finals, the organization. So we see an early play from Adam in mid.
That's really big for mid lane.
Larssen, I think, going to be able to force out the early flash. Does not look like it, but a ton of damage. And if he has to either burn TP or sit in this lane with almost no HP, burning through corrupting potion stacks.
Now that's a very small thing you might think of, but it could be something that could lead to a bigger picture here. Now Nisqy should win out on trades. Larssen lost 2 potions from that. So that means Nisqy can push in the wave, trade aggressively because he has more potions, and there's a world where either Nisqy can roam top in the early game, or he can get TP advantage on Larssen for forcing him to TP back early.
This is also just a classic Adam taking E into this matchup. It's like really not what you want at level 1. He's going to be bullied around by Odoamne. He also got to lane a little bit late, so Odo's going to get that push. But as you rightly said, due to this trade, he's giving so much more to Nisqy. He is setting him up for success very early on into the lane. It's helping him get prio, and we know what Fnatic do. They send resources mid, they help Nisqy get that prio, and then they use him to move around the map to help get the sides ahead.
And I just think an excellent read and use of resources, knowing that, hey, the Jayce is going to have range in the early levels. Yeah, you get a few more skill points, you can contest him, but just staying out of that lane when you're weaker, using your time to support your laners, and just waiting for that wave to come crashing into the tower so you can grab that CS. Well done by Fnatic, and especially by Adam.
Yeah, early world will spot out Inspired. You expect? No, I think they know that the Raptors is warded, so he's going to go straight to the red buff. A couple things just to mention. Adam playing with PTA on Camile. We've seen Omnistone Camile's Grasp, Conquer, all these things, so we'll have to keep our eyes on how that rune actually progresses when he gets the all-ins. And again, Nisqy just winning up this mid lane, keeping the push. Inspired's going to get spotted. Bwipo will be pathing towards a crab. With this mid push, Nisqy can get an early base. Maybe he just TP's back here and pressures. Larssen stops him.
And I think Nisqy definitely a player that we've been keeping our eyes on. In the first half of the season, it felt like he was maybe a little bit quieter. His discussions progressed more and more. We saw him becoming a rock and eventually a standout player, and it certainly was the case in the series versus G2 in general. Nisqy, incredible numbers. I think a 12.1 on the CSD there, or the gold, or that's gold average, not CSD. So you can see pulling ahead, getting stronger as an individual player. And initially, started this year, you told me this matchup, I would always assume Larssen would be the player to watch. But now, with Nisqy's recent performances, he is the man that I have my eyes on.
Yeah, especially in the G2 series. Had a fantastic series. That one blunder on the Sylas, sorry, stopwatch. Hang on as a second. As the branding comes through.
Initial snare. Good block by and follow-up there by Hylissang.
No, yeah, just going back to Nisqy point. 4 games of TF against G2. The only real kind of misstep he had was in that Sylas game, so providing so much to the team that's what Fnatic needs. They need resources for these star players, you know, like Upset can take over a game, Nisqy can take over a game whenever, and especially Adam too.
And I think what's really important as well is that I think at first many people believed that Upset was really the only way that you could win. It's because you're taking a lot of damage.
Up. Should be an easy finish now.
He's dead.
Coming out, he's got the active, doesn't even need it. First blood, well played by the side of Rogue. If you get hit by 2 bindings back-to-back, Fnatic bot lane, you are in for a hell of a lot of hurt.
Now, the one thing you can say about Rogue that hasn't changed is this 2 versus 2 in the bot lane. Even against Mad last week, they found themselves getting 2v2 kills, but here's the TP flank.
TP.
Double TP. Coming in.
Have they overstayed their welcome? Have they overcommitted Trymbi? Where's the black shield? What options does he have? He's now using it on Hansama, but it doesn't matter. All the physical damage just shredding him down. Punished for finding those advantages.
There's the TP advantage from the level 1. Larssen TP'd back to mid. Nisqy TP's to bot. There's a ward behind them. Punished for winning lane.
Oh no, it's the classic Fnatic. You know, it's that, no, we're not going to send 1 TP, we're going to send 2. You could make the argument that you didn't really need both, but Hansama and Trymbi knew that there was no point in flashing because they were guaranteed.
I'm going to have to spin this because I had a Hansama praise graphic already, but we'll run it anyway and we'll say, you can see why Fnatic would have wanted to focus Hansama down. He pushes forward in lane. Where do you think those CS deficits come from? Fnatic using both those TPs, and as you highlighted, Cadril, using the advantage they built earlier to punish bot lane for over-pushing.
Adam's going to gank mid here because I think top wave is in an absolutely disaster spot. He's going to be so far down in CS, so as good as this play was from Fnatic, the gold is completely even. Look at this wave still bouncing into Odo. He's already like 17, 18 CS up. Adam's going to be really far behind and he will get punished for that TP.
Inspired could also just interrupt the back hit. Yep, just being a troll. Now, one of the things that Fnatic could have done there was actually use their prior win mid and potentially set up a dive on top lane, because that wave was starting to stack and slow pushing, but they decided not to do it. Instead, Bwipo going to continue clearing through his jungle, where he will meet Inspired, who knows he can invade because enemy mid has just gone back to base.
We have to keep our eyes on top lane especially, because Odoamne is so far ahead now as well, but also has TP advantage. So now he can repay the favor into bot lane and look for a dive bot if they so wish to do so. But you're completely right. These kind of stacking waves, as good as they are for Odoamne as a freeze, the enemy team can use it against you for a dive, which we've seen so many teams do recently. So keep our eye on that top lane, but these two side lanes definitely getting ahead in the lane phase itself from Rogue, but good team play from Fnatic to shut it down.
Yeah, keeping the gold neck and neck, 100 gold advantage for Fnatic right now. Of course, Bwipo with both of those kills, about 600 of that is in his pocket. He is the one we need to keep an eye on, and currently he's on bottom side. Maybe going to look for the dive here on Hansama. Incredibly low. Black Shield is going to do some work, but it's not going to stop Nisqy from Realm warping in. Hansama now going to be in trouble, trying to backstep so he doesn't get hit by the extended range of the E. But now, Bwipo locked up under the tower. The chain CC not quite enough to finish the job. They should be able to grab two quick and easy kills here for the side of Fnatic. Odoamne sitting on the top side, nothing he can do.
Yeah, great setup from Fnatic. Nisqy as Prio goes towards bot. What was Rogue's only defending play? It was the TP from Odoamne. He TP's in the middle of the lane itself, right under his tower in vision. Adam just cancels him straight in his face and loses nothing for it. So this bot lane, this winning bot lane of Morgana into Rakan is backfiring heavily. They're so far behind right now in CS, in XP, and now if the Rakan can be unlocked on the map, that makes Larssen's life even harder.
And again, while the Azir will eventually outscale this Ryze in terms of range and damage output later on, especially in these 5v5 team fights, early on it can be very difficult for the Azir to be able to match this push. So Nisqy, along with all the early pressure and assistance that he had from players like Adam and the roams from Bwipo, he's been using this Prio to move around the map, and that's the second time he's now made his way to bot lane to set up upset for success.
The lane phase from Rogue is fine, just the team play seems really off. Communication, execution, when it comes to pushing out lanes, TPing behind, making team plays, just looks really, really off for Rogue, but it's very clinical for Fnatic.
And Rogue, obviously a team that we saw during the regular season dominate early games, and usually, outside of those Rogue moments that we've talked about, pretty cleanly transition their lead. Sadly, that was not the case versus Mad, and they certainly struggled versus Misfits as well. But you can see they got 3-0'd. Game 1, Game 2, those were the rough early games. That's the ones that personally caught me by surprise. I thought even against Mad, they'd be able to find that. Game 3, they still found that success and still fell behind. Things are dire for Rogue right now. We wanted to see a commanding Game 1 to show that the Mad series was just a little bit of a fluke and not potentially a skill discrepancy.
And their scaling should be alright. Yes, they're losing out on the lane phases, and they are quite far behind in this early game right now, and Nisqy can be unlocked on the entire map. But they have an Azir, they have an Aphelios. We can see what they can do in the late game. The problem is, like they said in draft, they lack a lot of engage, so closing out the game might be very difficult for Rogue itself. We'll have to keep an eye on how these side lanes progress, though.
So having a look at what's available on the map right now, things like the Herald are up. Both Azir and the Trundle have just gone back to base to spend a little bit of their money. You can see that Nisqy now has the tier 2 boots, so he's going to continue to look to roam around the map. But Bwipo sees a window of opportunity where, because Larssen has just gone back to base, Nisqy should be able to get the push, offer that assistance to Nisqy. And then also, if you have a quick look at your minimap, and our observers are highlighting, Hylissang already on the roam. Very common player that you'll see, especially when playing into range support matchups, who will often be a little bit slower on the roam because they want to focus a little bit more and trying to gain advantages in the 2 versus 2.
Yeah, free Herald, easy pickup. Rogue, they put a ward over the wall, they knew it was dying, but no push in mid, and like you said, support wasn't there, so where do you use that Herald is a big question for Fnatic. Could use it mid when Nisqy gets the push, and you can look for 3-man plays on Larssen, or you could look to use it bot with Nisqy's Prio, where he moves around the map. Larssen gonna dash away.
Of course, for Fnatic, everything going very swimmingly in this early game. 4 kills to 1, they've got the Herald, they've got the Dragon as well. They pulled off the successful bot lane ganks, as we know that they love to do. Adam here could have potentially overcommitted there. Odoamne still opting to hammer smash him out of that exchange.
Look at Nisqy.
Yeah.
Is hovering in the river there. I think both teams are expecting something to happen around the top side. Of course, Rogue have full information thanks to the vision that they have, whereas Fnatic not quite in the same boat. But this control over the river on both sides, actually, from the side of Fnatic is very good. You can see these control wards invested top side and on bot side to make sure that they keep moving into Fog of War and to get Rogue guessing consistently.
Yeah, look at the vision Rogue have. They see absolutely nothing. So Inspired just came up here to cover Odoamne so he could push out, but Odoamne might be overextending here a bit. He still sees nothing. Inspired canceled his base once again, so using a lot of time here to make sure Odoamne can push in, chunk out Adam, get a play to himself. Maybe he was expecting Bwipo to look for a gank up towards this top side because they haven't spotted him out for quite a while. So that's a really good play, I think, by Rogue itself, because the problem you have right now is you can't walk into river to contest vision because you get collapsed on. So you walk through the lane, and then when you base together, then you can move together into the river if you so please. So Inspired not showing in the end, but I think Fnatic kind of knew something was up there.
good, I think, to see Rogue playing a little bit through Odoamne. He's a guy that really impressed us in the regular season and struggled a bit against Huron, struggled a bit against Arma in the most recent series. So to see that priority place there, to see him start building up these 40 CS leads, these additional tower plates is good. The question now, as it always is when you have a laner with this big of an individual advantage, is how do you transition that elsewhere on the map? How do you make Odo's lead everybody's lead?
And the important thing to recognize is that while Odo is ahead on the 1v1, when you look at the overall game, Bwipo right now is the only one with a mythic item. He is very strong on this Viego. He has a level up on Inspired. He has a CS advantage. And alongside Nisqy, this mid jungle from Fnatic is very strong, and they will often get to move first. So these early objectives, Rogue will likely just have to concede and rely on their scaling later on into the game.
Yeah, look at Hylissang. He just ran all the way straight to top lane. Bwipo has Herald too, so if Nisqy can get up here, it's a 4-man play. Trymbi stuck in lane, Upset using the ult to clear out the wave in bot, so he should be able to farm from max range. Rogue really need to defend the play here. Larssen already basing to get an item to maybe look for a TP, because right now, as strong as Odoamne is, if you have a numbers disadvantage, he can't even walk up to the tower.
Here comes the setup for the potential dive. Rumwarp going in as well. Inspired, what can he do? The flash in, the immediate stun coming out. That's the Spectral Maw. Odoamne just getting shredded down. Camile might be behind, but she's got more than enough CC to make sure Odo goes down. Fnatic and Bwipo now moving to the top side. They've got the Herald to pull out as well. They might not be able to finish the tower, but they're going to grab a couple plates.
Beautifully done by Fnatic, and Rogue knew that it was happening, but there was nothing that they could really do to stop it. Larssen had gone back to base. He did have the TP up, but it did not matter. The 4-man collapse from Fnatic will get them kills, it will get them plates, and it will continue to extend their early game gold advantage.
Yeah, look at Upset in bot lane. There was not even a cross map. He can just sit there and clear out the wave. Rogue can't even invest TPs to try to shut him down or force him off the wave, because Fnatic can always match. This is the thing when you have 3 pushing lanes. Fnatic can push in bot, mid and top. So Hylissang has time to just base. Upset can catch the wave, give the push for 1 wave or 2, run top, and make this play happen. Great to see.
I mean, the craziest thing is when we looked at the draft, right, we expected Rogue to have the push in bot, but then what happens? The double TPs, the roams down to bot lane, they shut down this Aphelios Morgana from having pressure. Then in the top side of the map, Odoamne is dominating. But how do they use the Herald? Oh, it's because they use their mid prior to roam top and then contest for it. It's crazy how Fnatic are executing this early game. Let's see what happens now.
Just a cheeky ignite to threaten Inspire. Hylissang Upset might be in trouble here. Hansama can go for the active. Nope. Upset going to use the cleanse, but Hylissang now going to get taken down as Odoamne TPing down to the bottom side. So Dragon secured by Rogue, but using a TP to do so.
Yeah, I wonder if Larssen's going to TP top to defend that top tower, because Adam can just push this in and take it, I believe, on the next couple of waves. Looks like Odoamne realizes that, cancels his base and says, guys, my top tower is dying. Let's get their bot tower at least. Larssen is going to clear it mid, and it'll be a trade-off of towers by the looks of it. But you're completely right, Vidius. This early game kind of fell apart for Rogue. The early kills in bot from the TPs, the mid lane chunk level 1 on Larssen made it so Nisqy had the push there as well. So now Odoamne is kind of suffering from it all.
And it was something that we credited Fnatic a lot in their series versus G2, how crisp and how well executed their early game looked, and it's impressive to see them further refine it, further execute. And you feel a little bad for Adam, because it's one of those situations where he's sacrificing a lot for the betterment of his team, but you can see how that investment for him ends up paying back tenfold later on into the game.
And I think this is just a further indication of something else that we've talked about, which is the flexibility of this Fnatic roster. Adam has been the center of attention, and Adam has been left on an island, and the Misfits series showed that perfectly, where we have Adam completely on his own. We have games where Nisqy is the sole focus, where he is roaming on the map. We have games where they're going bot lane every single time. The flexibility of this Fnatic roster with so many strong players is incredible to see, and when they leverage it well, you can see how hard it is for Rogue to match it.
Yeah, and the flexibility comes through draft and gameplay, right? You can see Fnatic, like you just said, Adam's in a losing matchup. He's going to sacrifice himself. He's going to gank mid. He's going to make sure his team's ahead. He's playing Darius. They're going to invest resources into him. Now, Odoamne, no flash.
He's going to get locked up there for a brief moment. Spectral Maw comes out, followed up by the ulti as well, and there's just nowhere for him to go. Inspired coming in. Maybe they can try to take down Bwipo, but he's got the reset as well on the Viego passive. No, a perfect pillar means Bwipo will go down. Big money into the back pocket of Inspired.
Yeah, good shutdown there. Now Rogue's pinning on towards the bot side, and Hylissang is still moving up. Upset's alone in bot. Adam has found Inspired, no flash.
Tries to run for his life, not too tanky. Stopwatch buys a bit of time. A brief moment. Larssen could come in. He could try to save him with the shuffle. What else is he going to do? Larssen, no time to use the ultimate either. He's now trying to chase down Nisqy. Has to be careful, though, if he overextends. Hylissang and Adam on almost no mana, but if they see the Azir at all, he could just get dropped.
Yeah, Fnatic just have numbers advantage everywhere they go. Mid, bot, and especially in the top side. That's the second time in a row. Inspired, I think he was just walking in to clear out vision or maybe look for a camp itself. Gets caught, ends up dying. What a Rogue get on the cross map? Nothing. They had to invest a TP to defend the play. They get nothing there, and all they get is a push in bot, and now Hans is based.
It's crazy how much control Fnatic actually has over the top side of the map. You can just see all these wards invested, this trio, this one ward here, the river control they have, the vision is just absolutely mind-blowing from the side of Fnatic, and they're using their early game control to perfection. Let's have a look back at exactly how this one broke down.
Yeah, they have the ult onto Adam. Odoamne tries to knock him away to get the Hex Tech cancelled. He does in the end, but too much follow-up without flash. Now Inspired comes in, and it looks like he's fine here because he kills Bwipo. So after he dies, it looks like the fight's over. Hang on, fight in top.
Going forward, Nisqy. It's just too easy if you're a Ryze. Oh, Azir, there's just nothing you could do. You can dance all you want, but he's going to point and click you eventually. Nisqy on a rampage.
Yeah, great play from Nisqy. I'd love to see how he got onto Larssen there, because he must have dash, he must have flash, and he must have his tower passive as well, but Nisqy gets the solo kill. We talked about Fnatic having a 1-3-1 comp. They're in a 1-3-1 right now, and you can see Rogue just can't match it. Yes, Odoamne can push in bots, but Adam could probably all in him if he has vision. Nisqy looking for Inspired here. Hylissang has flash.
Now stepping forward, Hylissang not going to connect with anybody, but he can leap right back out to Nisqy. Guardian Proc going to reduce some of that damage. Hansama strong with the gun combo he has, but no one is walking into his effective range. Adam now even comfortable in the 1v1. He's a level up on Odoamne. That was Rogue's only strong point, and he's fishing for the 1v1. Odoamne alive for now. Nope, that's Adam on a killing spree.
Oh, the solo laners of Fnatic are taking over. We said the solo laners get ahead. It's really hard for Rogue to play. Rogue are trying to group up and do something. Larssen gets solo killed. Adam gets vision on everyone, and Rogue just solo kills Odoamne as well. They can't push side lanes, and they can't even group mid.
Such an impressive early game from Fnatic across the board. Everything that they needed to do, they have done, and they have controlled the game pretty much for the entirety of it. Look at the gold sitting on the two solo laners. Bwipo is so much further ahead of Inspired as well, and it feels like Rogue's strategy of trying to leverage their pushing bot, leverage their pushing top, scale for the later game, rely on their team fighting, it's all just falling apart.
And gentlemen, I think this level of team play is doubly impressive. We remember the start of season context for Fnatic. Adam coming in as a rookie, Bwipo role swapping to a brand new role, but we've talked about it before. The one thing they have over every other team is best of 5 experience this season. You called it the Gulag, Cadril.
It's
this
the Gulag.
team has gotten better and better. You remember the Vitality series, how shaky, how bloody it was, improving against Misfits, taking down G2 with those dominating TF performances, and now here in Game 1 versus Rogue, Fnatic look incredibly strong.
The question is this just a curse? Because we've seen this from so many of the teams in our playoff runs. We've seen Fnatic get stomped in their Game 1 against G2 in their best of 5 to then have them bounce back. And often, when you look at these best of 5s, this first game is a big indicator of some of the big strengths. Rogue's game plan coming into the game was more about scaling, relying on some of their dominant laners to find advantages. And credit to Hansama and Trymbi, they did find a 2 versus 2 kill, but Fnatic's response was better. They invested teleports, they utilized Nisqy and Bwipo moving around the map, getting early game advantages, and they've been able to dominate off the back of that.
I think the way you said it is beautifully right. Hans and Trymbi find the lead, but Fnatic as a team find a way to shut it down, and that's the difference you're seeing in these games. Now that these solo laners are ahead, they have full control of the map. The team play is great to see. Now they're going to get their second dragon. Larssen might get this top tier 1, but for now it just feels like Fnatic's in full control. The only plays Rogue are making are lane phase plays.
Definitely. At this point, Larssen just going to take what he can, grab the tower. They're down 4K gold. Now, as you highlighted in the composition, scaling always an option for Rogue. If they can find the front-to-back team fights, they certainly have the tools to win the day. Azir and Aphelios, 2 of the strongest scaling champions in the current meta. Maybe, just maybe, they can keep a Ryze at arm's length, the Camile, a Viego at arm's length, but it is going to be difficult.
And so this is where 2 important things have to be discussed. Number 1, Fnatic can sometimes be their own worst enemy. Fnatic have shown that sometimes they are over-aggressive, they are over-eager, they will take fights that they don't need to take. I'm sure we can think back to a number of times Hylissang made an engage happen, and you're like, Hilly, are you all right there? And then it ends up in disaster.
G2.
Exactly. So this is something that Fnatic have shown can still be a problem for them, and in a position like this, something that they have to be wary of. The other thing to take into consideration, Rogue in their very first game against Mad, the reason why Mad couldn't just roll over them was because the way in which Rogue actually managed their side waves. Every time Mad tried to play through 2 lanes, Rogue would make sure that the 3rd lane was completely pushed out and they were consistently catching them and wave clearing. So Fnatic need to make sure that they don't slow the game down too much, because even though Rogue might not be able to control the early game in the same way that many of the teams in the LEC do, they're still a smart team and they can be pretty tricky and clever with how they manipulate their ways.
Certainly, and of course for Fnatic, this is one of the hardest points in the game to push through and push further. If you get a Baron, obviously easy picking on those tier 2 towers, but really have to find those creative punishes, have to move across the map very well to start breaking tier 2s lose without the help of one of these bigger buffs, without the help of a prior team fight at one of these major objectives.
Yeah, I think patience is the aim of the game here, Fnatic. They're going to push in now because Baron's spawning in 10 seconds. They want to get some vision around here. You can see Nisqy's first to the jungle because Larssen has to catch the wave. Similarly in bot, they have to catch bot wave as Hans has to get away from that realm warp. They were going to collapse on him and he probably would have died there. Has to invest a flash.
Potentially doubly important, as highlighted in pick ban by Viego. The setup is so crucial for Rogue if they want to win these fights, and now they're just in no position to set up around any objective, around anything, because they're just fighting to get back into their own jungle, let alone the dragon that's spawning in 3 minutes, let alone the Baron that just spawned now.
I think we've outlined clearly how Fnatic want to play the game. They want to push inside and move mid. We just saw it there and Hans had the flash. Now the question is, what do Rogue do as a team? You've got good scaling, you know, Azir and Aphelios will scale. You lack engage, yes, but how do you weather the storm? And I think that controlling side lanes, catching waves, and making sure you group up mid as much as possible to shut down the plays is the best way to do it, Viego.
And here we see a TP though. Fnatic are trying to shut that down.
Adam coming in, hookshot wall dive, very difficult to get away
out
from. Are they going to go? That's going to be the blue trinket coming out. They've spotted it, and there's just nowhere for him to run. The ulti will not be enough. Nisqy now unstoppable. Fnatic, are they willing to go for this Baron?
Oh, yes, they are. They're Fnatic, baby. 40 seconds on Larssen. They're going to start it up. Inspired has flash to steal, but I think Fnatic have good turn. They don't have Realm Warp just yet, so I think Hylissang is the main point of engage. Look where he is.
On the flank, Rogue, no vision whatsoever. They have a brief moment where the trinket comes out. The pillar going to grab it just a little bit. Can they steal it away? Can they get it? No! Flash over the wall too, right into the waiting arms of Fnatic. It's an absolute disaster for Rogue. And Bwipo's still going. He's taking away the Trundle. He's taking away the pillar. But Hansama, maybe this is his zero moment. Black Shield, but he just doesn't have the damage yet. It's too early in the game. He gets absolutely shredded. Trymbi running for his life. Fnatic routing Rogue in the pit.
Oh, Rogue are just getting run over. Inspired flashed in 1 second too late. Hans has no flash. Larssen was dead from before. Odoamne just pushed out bot. He knows that the topside play is doomed, and now Fnatic are just so far ahead. 7k gold lead at 21 minutes, and they have a Baron.
We talked about how Rogue wanted to try and control the side lanes, try and make things a little bit harder for Fnatic, but the moment that Larssen dies, that is the go button for Fnatic. The delayed flash from Inspired, he was just a little bit too late getting over the wall. It looked like that HP was low enough for him to make the play, but it wasn't. The moment that he drops, Hansama then gets committed. Fnatic find themselves kills, they find themselves a Baron, and now they're looking to end the game.
Yeah, and I have to say, credit to Inspired, he just flipped it. They had no vision on the Baron, so he just 50-50'd it. He knew that was their only way to win. Trymbi, I think, had no wards. I think he had 0 wards, no pinks, no nothing, because he walked up to the pit and he couldn't throw anything over. The only thing they threw over for vision was the Aphelios turret. But by the time he threw that over, the Nash was dead. So now Rogue have lost it, and now it's all about weathering the storm, but it's even harder because this 1v1 can come out. Fnatic obviously have no TP, so it's a little bit harder, but they can dive you. They have a Rakan that's fed, and he has a flash available, so he can just instantly jump on you.
These tier 2s are going to start breaking. We've seen already Fnatic have so many engage options that they get Larssen. They might start a fight, but Larssen looking for his hero moment. He's been locked up. He's just going to get taken down. He just gets deleted. He pushes one back, though, and maybe it'll be enough. Bwipo stealing away, shuffling out on his own Azir form, but Rogue holding on for now, delaying this Baron, slowing Fnatic down at the cost of Larssen's life.
But I think it's a play that you have to try and make, because if they get themselves 2 kills there, they slow down the push from Fnatic. They know that their base is going to be broken if they don't try something, so they make a last-ditch effort. Larssen goes to the hero play. It ends up faltering, and while getting a 1-for-1, Fnatic secure themselves under the tower.
Yeah, you have to make those kind of plays. In the end, it does slow down the siege. Looks like Fnatic are only going to get that mid tier 2 and a dragon for now, so side lane tier 2s are alive. There's a big top wave stacking, but for now Rogue have slowly weathered the storm, but Fnatic are gonna come back even stronger.
Weathered the storm of the Baron, to be certain. Maybe Adam gets this tier 2 tower, but it looks like Rogue will respond. But the 8k gold lead and the 3 Drakes remain, gentlemen, so it is still... They're not out of the storm yet, and they might not be for a very long time. Again, scaling is the answer, and sadly for Rogue, I think holding on for dear life is going to be the theme for the rest of this game.
Larssen's just walking into the jungle looking for a blue buff. Doesn't have any vision to work with either, so he's just gonna have to give this one up. And yeah, Rogue looking for these desperation plays. When you're this pushed under your towers and backskin soul this far behind, these are the plays you have to look for.
Also, so the thing about the scaling angle, like, yes, on paper, like, if they were even in gold, I could see a way in which Rogue could definitely win out on fights. But the other problem they have is upset. And something, when I think about Ezreal, is his scaling is often relative to how much threat he has on him as a champion. It's very difficult to lock down upset with the composition that Rogue has. So, and also Camile is very, very fed.
They're all fed.
Odoamne going in anyway. He's not too concerned. Is it going to cost him his life? Not quite. He's going to flash out. That Black Shield's not going to block it. It does. Just barely manages to keep Odoamne alive. Trymbi just enough AP and enough points in that ability to keep him going. But that's a tier 2 down for Fnatic, and the gold lead continues to grow, almost 10k now in their favor.
That top tier 2 falls, and the Ezreal did have to flash away that time, and the only real way that Upset can get locked down is if he goes too deep. There we saw it, he eat over the wall, had to flash back over, but they get the objective that they came for, and they force Rogue even further back into their base, almost a 10k gold lead now.
But the point that I was trying to make is that you need like a good 10 to 15 minutes on Rogue if you really want to go stand toe-to-toe with Fnatic. You need to try and get so much more gold onto your side if you really want to stand a chance.
Yeah,
and I don't know if they're going to get the chance to stall that.
I think the more you theory craft the team fight, the worse it looks for Rogue.
Yeah.
If we just go Aphelios' Azir, you're like, oh, good, late game is good. If you're like, also there's a Camile and a Viego, and if you ignore the Ezreal, he's going to kill your front line in like 2 seconds.
I think if you're the coaches and you're Rogue, you just look at this game and you say, well, we drafted winning lanes, and in the end we didn't win them because they kind of, you know, we lost track of TPs, bad timings, bad push-outs, bad covers, whatever it may be. But the core point of Rogue's comp is get lanes ahead, get into mid-game ahead, and have the setup, make them walk into you, poke them, and that's how you get to engage. In the end, you fall behind, which makes it even worse. And now with winning sides, better engage and better, in a sense, team fight just because of how well they skirmish and they can pick you off with numbers advantage. Fnatic are, of course, ahead. And now it's just a case of how they close the game out. Rogue can make hero plays. Larssen already sitting in this bush looking to catch out Nisqy, who has no flash. This could be the start of something for Rogue, but they need to find it.
Nisqy, of course. Run more of it available, but no flash, as you highlighted. Trymbi stepping forward into Bwipo. Going to use the shackles, but Bwipo already on the way out.
Ooh, this time it worked.
Safety. That's true. No pauses today. We know about the weird Ryze ult interactions now.
He was clicking towards it. He got taken out, and now because Rogue invests
The funny thing about that is I thought he was actually outside the wall.
It looked like his back foot was outside.
Where you are, it's about where you click. Spiritually where you want to be.
Yeah, but the Rogue, tried to look for something, doesn't work, and then you lose something on the other side of the map. That's just how the game naturally goes when you're this far behind, so they're going to have to find a miracle play here, Rogue.
I have a lot of respect, though, for Fnatic in terms of playing this game patiently. They haven't overforced, and like obviously we have seen them play a clean and patient game, right? When they played against G2, they had some really big stomps and they were very clean. I think that just against a team like Rogue is something you have to be careful of because they will look for those opportunities, they will look for those picks, and if you're not restrained, you can get heavily punished for it. So I like what we're seeing from Fnatic in this game one. Very positive game. They've come in with a strong draft. They've come in and executed well upon that draft, and they are definitely setting themselves up as the favorites in this series.
Certainly are, and potentially could look to end the game here in the next few minutes. We're a minute and 15 seconds away from that Cloud Soul for Fnatic, as well as 4 seconds away from that Baron. Fnatic already have pushed in the mid lane, and we take a look across the board. Rogue flashes are up, in theory, outside of Larssen and Odoamne. They are pretty ready for this team fight. That said, Fnatic could just beat them down with their wallets. It's still a 10k gold lead that Rogue have to find a way to overcome.
Yeah, it's just interesting to see because now this game, the stakes have changed. It's not about Worlds now, it's about the title. It's about Rogue's revenge against Mad Lion, and it's about Fnatic rising up after such a poor performance in Spring, I have to say. It's great to see Fnatic's bounce back in this game alone in the series, putting in a statement game one just now. It's all about closing it out. And like you said, Vedi, it's not getting a bit too over-aggressive when it comes to these dives. Baron's up, they can burst it down. They have many options, you know, you can just push out lanes with Ryze, Ryze ult towards the Baron, and push it and get it before they can do anything. But Rogue, in their own jungle, ready to react. Inspired has flash now, and they're trying to fish around to get some information. Odoamne bot, Larssen in mid, they have TPs if anything kicks off. It looks like Fnatic might just want to push them into their base for now.
I like the way in which Fnatic is controlling their sideways. They set up a good wave on bot lane, kept that pushed in. They're keeping the pressure up in mid. You can see Nisqy playing the top side. Adam, he nearly face check. Is he going to face check?
But the binding missed!
Wide. Soul Shackles, the pillar pushing him back. He's going to be locked in for a few seconds now. He tries to ult with the Camile to get himself out to safety. He's very tanky, and the flash is going to get him out. He has to burn everything to do it, but he manages to survive.
That should have been a kill for Rogue, but now the backfire is going to come in. They're going to lose Dragon for it. Fnatic don't even bother about it. Rogue lost a lot of ultimates for that, but they realize they can't do Baron because the waves are pushed in mid and in top. I think that should have been a pick for Rogue and maybe an avenue for them to find some comeback in this game.
Definitely could have been a huge play, but Rogue end up falling short. Now Fnatic continuing to clear out vision. They will get themselves the soul. The binding will connect onto Bwipo, but I doubt any follow-up is going to happen. The rest of Rogue starting to collapse around the Baron area.
The fact that they've gotten Cloud Soul and now kept pressure around the Baron area is big. But the fact that Bwipo got chunked out could cost them a little bit, as Rogue are now fighting to take back mid priority, assuming that Bwipo has to back off. Of course, he is the Viego. He has enough sustain. He can just clear up off a camp and be full health and ready for a fight. Not quite level 16 yet, but is getting stronger and stronger. Rogue feels like the Baron flip might be the last-ditch effort to try to get away back into this game.
Bwipo got the crab. The problem is Fnatic just need to push Rogue out now and retake vision. They have very little vision around this Baron after taking that Cloud Zone, after having base, but now Larssen has to dash away from Nisqy. You can see that on the minimap. Adam's chasing him, and that's Larsen's flash already gone, so now they can push in the waves. Baron is going to be on the menu soon.
Last one was forced to flash there. The risk of Adam's ultimate was too great, and he didn't want to gamble it. So now with that gone, he becomes so much easier to kill in the fight. And Fnatic is going to start pressuring the Baron. Upset going to try and force Inspired away. The waves have been pushed in. Fnatic with good control.
This is where the game will be decided. Fnatic, yes, is very far ahead. They just need to execute this one Baron. They should be in a good spot to clean end it out. Hylissang's coming from base. They want to look for an engage. They want to push Rogue back.
Hansama, good guns, 3 items. Maybe, just maybe, we can get another fat team fight damage chart from him if he can hold on. Upset, though, throwing the ulti across at least one member of the team. Trymbi getting chunked out. It is not the luxury of an Alistar or an engaged support. He's only got a binding and a black shield to his name.
Yep, there it is.
Realm Warp coming in, just as you call it, Cajal. Now they set their sights completely and totally on this Baron. Adam going to the pit, where he can try to stop Rogue from getting in. 6K, 5K, 4K, getting lowered. Inspired. Can he come over the wall? Can he steal it? No. Fnatic taking their second Baron of the game. A Cloud Soul backing them up as well. They are poised to take game 1.
And interestingly clean from Fnatic. They don't overdive, they don't overchase, they just push them back, Realm Warp to the Baron. They know their timings, they secure it, and they all back off. Now they have the setup, and they should start to siege into Rogue space.
Yeah, I like the fact that Fnatic actually turned off the Baron and chose to try and fight or skirmish against Rogue, because they know that they're 10k gold up, so if Rogue choose to take a fight, they're more than certainly going to win it. And on top of that, Fnatic then use that to reclaim vision control over that top side of the jungle, and then creatively use the Realm Warp to get back into the Baron pit to be able to secure it before Rogue could even answer. Just very well played, great patience, and a very, very solid game 1 from Fnatic.
Oh man, I have to say everything sucks for the side of Rogue right now. Everyone's so far down in levels. Inspired 3 levels down. Nisqy's level 18. Hands 2 levels down. Now the siege comes in. Looks like they're going to go for a 1-1-3. Both TPs are available. They're going to siege onto this bot tier 3. If anything kicks off, the solo laners will TP in, and it's going to be a seesaw effect where Fnatic push in bot. When Rogue match, they'll push in top and mid. When they match there, they'll keep pushing in bot. So just keep your eyes on how they keep chunking out these towers, depending on where Rogue puts numbers.
You know, I think Nisqy could even like threaten to dive onto Larssen.
Oh, speak of the devil, it might just happen.
Yep.
Doesn't even need to dive.
Yep.
1 shot before he can walk under the tower, and that's going to be bad. It's going to be at least 1 inhibitor getting taken down, but now Hylissang, they're going in. Odoamne, he does a lot of damage, but he's just so squishy. Hansama stepping forward. He just wants to auto-attack somebody, but nobody is in range. Fnatic breaking down another tower. All 3 inhibitor towers down. All 3 inhibitors soon to follow from the start of the game along every single step. Fnatic have been in control. Rogue needed early advantages. They could not find them, and Fnatic never gave them away back into this game 1 with absolute confidence, with absolute dominance, and a 15k gold lead with Adam diving into the fountain ready to go. Fnatic will take game 1 in this semi-final.
Wow, really clean game from Fnatic, I have to say.